Hello, everyone. So, I've got a Corbin um, sitting in a vinegar bath right now because this is an excellent time to use vinegar, in my opinion. Um, there's different ways people clean up padlocks, and ultimately it's yours. When you buy it or whatever, it's your padlock, and you can do whatever you want. People do different things on patina. Some people like to keep it, and other people want to restore it to its original condition. I like patina if I can preserve it. This is an excellent example of one, but it's also another example of what you see. These red fibers here are what I found underneath the Corbin's locking pawl, which leads me to believe that all of these. This was an eBay lot of 4 padlocks. One of them, if you look at my earlier videos, is sacrificed in the name of science and curiosity to find out why it wasn't working. And it had a bunch of this gunk in it. I mean, this red stuff all over it. I mean, you can see it in the lettering. And like on these, that's not normally in there. And this one, I'm going to find out if it's working fine. You can see the pin stack in there and everything. And vinegar is just a mild acid. And it works very well for slowly removing things. If you take a buffing wheel and you buff brass, you're going to change the original marks, the machine marks and stuff that were on there. And if that's not important to you, then, that's up to you. I mean, it's however you want to do a lock, like I said. But if you want the least destructive method and stuff, vinegar, it depends on how long you leave it in there. It's a mild acid, so the longer you leave it in there, the more it's gonna do its thing. And the only difference is, like this WB right here, it didn't take all of its patina, but man, when I originally got it, it was a lot darker than that, but vinegar also makes it smoother. And you can see kind of like the grain marks. I don't know if this thing's going to... I'm looking through the camera for once instead of having it sideways. There we go. You can see the grain marks there, That's original from where it has. And if you buff that, it's gone. But if you want to clean it, you can use Brasso and stuff like that. But when you start getting something like this where you don't want those fibers in your locking mechanism. You don't want them caught up in the springs and gumming things up. And I mean, if the key works, yeah, I mean it works and everything, but it makes it it basically fouls up the works, gums up the works. So I've got a big Corbin sitting in there that's in a vinegar bath, and the reason is because it had all that crap underneath the locking pawl. Now here's another Corbin. This one's smaller, but all around this ring right here, it's normal. That's what you would kind of expect, But when it's all caked in red, like it is on these ones that I got, so this is my theory that it was stored. It's Navy, they're all marked USN except for that American that got sacrificed in the name of science. So my theory is it was in a red cloth bag, and the bag deteriorated due to being in some kind of a liquid. Because, I mean, how else do you get this stuff underneath the locking pawl and inside the lock, I mean, and coating on the lettering and stuff. And you can see red around the base. I already scratched a lot of that away with actually the edge of these little tweezers and stuff. There's a bunch of hair and stuff that wasn't on that, but there's red fibers and stuff underneath there. I think I got stuck in cat hair and human hair and stuff. But yeah, I took that in there and rammed it through and got those fibers out of there underneath the locking pawl of that Corbin. So, yeah. Whatever it was, he was on a ship. All right, see, this is where you start making up stuff. You don't have the original story, so you just make something up. And this guy was in the Navy, and he had his padlocks all there, and his ship went down, and he put all of his padlocks in a bag because he loved, his padlocks, and he swam ashore. He got on a raft, and his bag got wet, but he kept his padlocks with him. And when he got back, and got out of the service and everything, he stored them in. He just threw them in a bag somewhere, and they deteriorated because he forgot about them. And then the bag got wet again because it was in a barn and there was a hole in the roof. And yeah, when they later found it in his estate, the person didn't know what they were, so he just, wiped off the outside. Ran them over, hosed them down with water, and then sold them on eBay. And I bought them. So that's my theory. Some of it is a stretch of the imagination, but some of it's probably accurate. But the main thing is, what do you want to use, Like vinegar is also non-toxic. You start spraying around brake cleaner and stuff like that, unless you're like inhaling those kind of fumes. And vinegar fumes are, but they're not the greatest thing in the world, but they're non-toxic. And it's good to even pour down your drain because it helps unclog drains and stuff like that and keep them clean. So, yeah. Hooray for vinegar, I guess, is the whole theme of this one. But really, it's when you want to use it. So I got pictures I'm going to attach, of this lock. It's still sitting. It's only been there like 6 hours. So you want to give them a good day or two, if you really want it to get its effect going and stuff. And it's already working. It's starting to break off crud off the shackle. But I mainly want it to get in there and clean out the gunk on the inside. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna rinse it off, and because it's an acid, it's gonna eat up all the oil and lube in there. So you got to hit it again with some more lube to keep things nice and springy. But it really should restore it and bring it back to life more, and basically clean it up, because these are cool padlocks. And I'm gonna pick this guy open on camera. I told it last night I was gonna do that, and it wore me out, man. I got thirsty. And I had the camera on for like 20 or 30 minutes, and I went, man, nobody's going to watch this video even if I fast forward because nothing's happening. And I turned off the camera, and I didn't pick it open after that. I just said, okay, you win. You won your little camera shy battle. But for now, because I'm going to keep doing it until I get you open on camera, some of the stuff is kind of like superstition or theory or mumbo jumbo or stuff, and some of it's real too. Like the camera shyness of a lock is a real effect that actually happens. And I don't know exactly what it is. You'd have to be more scientific to study it and stuff. I found some possible causes of it, but I don't have the complete answer. Other than some locks have very good camera detectors. They know when the camera is on, and they'll act differently. And it's not like stage fright. I've done, it's 400-something videos, so it's not like I'm afraid of making videos or anything. But, be that as it may, I'm going to stop this video because I've rambled on too much. But I do love old padlocks, and sometimes I'll keep the original, patina, like on this rust one. It's all kind of like, it's got this gray and everything. Some of that would change, if you clean it up, and it doesn't have a lot of super gray marks on it. Sorry, it's kind of like out of focus. But really, that's basically, my vinegar video, I guess. So.